I had been using Mint.com for the longest time, and now I'm making the switch to YNAB. But I made some mistakes along the way, and in this video I'm going to break down all the mistakes you need to avoid. Hey, what's going on? This is Mauli Vodi, and you may be wondering, hey, you're a former stockbroker and investment consultant. You've built your wealth up through investing and avoiding several mistakes throughout your investing career. And why are you making a video about budgeting? Well, budgeting happens whether you're actively doing it or not. You see, there are passive ways to do it and then proactive ways to do it. And Mint.com is something that myself and my wife have used for over 10 years, and it was, in retrospect, very reactive. And now that Credit Karma is taking over Mint, or Mint is going away and Credit Karma is what's going to be left, this is an opportunity for me to improve how we budget so that we can continue to invest the way that we would like to. And there's always ways to optimize this because, as you know, if you invest early and often, that is how you can build this type of wealth. So in this video, I'm just going to go over some of the mistakes I made when moving from Mint to YNAB, which is completely different. Mistake number one, I thought that it was going to be kind of like Mint. I was completely wrong. It's very, very different. And again, it is very, very proactive when you use YNAB. So I want you to take a moment and forget everything you did on Mint and just pretend as if you are logging into YNAB and you're using a spreadsheet or a sheet of paper even with just some outlines of what you think you spend in certain areas, and then operate as if that is what your budget was or how you used it, because the way you use things on Mint is not going to translate, and it can make things very difficult with your experience on transitioning to YNAB. So just pretend as if you're using a spreadsheet in your mind. Don't try to think that one thing transfers to another. Mistake number two, don't import your transaction data. Okay, so I know there are certain areas where you look online, they'll tell you, hey, you can import your transaction data from wherever into YNAB. Yes, that's true, you can, but I don't particularly think it will help you because, again, you're going to be holding on to the old while trying to understand the new. What you need to do, in my opinion, is to just link one specific account, specifically a checking account, and operate with YNAB through that first, and then you will know what to add going forward. Because again, when you're trying to fit all of the transactions from Mint into YNAB, you're going to find yourself to be very overwhelmed, and you're not going to want to use the app, in my opinion, if you are migrating the data over from a previous app. The only situation where I think it's probably recommended is if you have an account that won't be directly linked to YNAB. So in any opportunity you have, I recommend that you just link the bank account or link that credit card or link the specific account directly to YNAB. Don't try to manually import the transactions. It has that capability, but again, I personally think it's overwhelming, and I am coming with some baggage from Mint, obviously. Number three, do not do this during the holidays. Okay, so this is part of my problem. Well, we know that by the end of the year, Mint is going to be gone, and the option has to be either Credit Karma or something else. And with it being December, like I'm actively recording this video in December, we're preparing for Christmas. So we're spending abnormally in just a way that is not normal for our regular, day-to-day. We've saved up for a specific behavior in December, and now we're exhibiting that behavior. And there's a lot of transactions that you wouldn't normally see. And it makes it a little bit more difficult to categorize things. If you see an Amazon purchase here or Amazon purchase there, or we're going here to Costco or BJ's for these different purchases, but they're not your regular grocery purchases. So in my opinion, don't do this during the holiday season. Some people will say, hey, well, if you can manage doing all of the transactions and categorizing them and assigning them during the holidays, then any other month will be easier. But in my opinion, it could be a little bit blurry, or it'll muddy the waters if you do it during a busy month like December, especially if you celebrate Christmas. Another mistake I made was I thought it would be quick. You see, YNAB, again, is completely different. You have to be very proactive in what you're doing. So it's not something where you just jump in and jump out and then check it in a few weeks. Like, this is something that's going to be a regular behavior, and it will translate into dollars saved or areas that are optimized for better investing or debt being paid off and things like that. And to be clear, being debt-free is not necessarily my primary goal. Building wealth is, and we have a few credit cards where we could easily pay them off, but again, we prioritize investing more, and using a credit card here and there is not a big concern in this household. The goal is not to be debt-free, it's to build wealth while maintaining a less amount of debt. The specific reason why it's important not to be so quick about this is because you actually have to take time and categorize your spending. You don't want to just do that in a rush. You want to think about how you're doing that, because eventually you'll set up targets, and some people will even say set up targets first. But I say categorize as best as you can, and then you can translate that into the specific targets that you have set up. Because with YNAB, you are giving your dollars jobs. Imagine this: if you don't tell your money what to do, it will go any and everywhere, and you are subject to everyone else. So you are literally the manager of your money. You are employing your dollars to do what you need it to say, because if you don't, it'll just move around aimlessly, and that's what a lot of people fall into. And everyone can optimize a lot of their spending if they just gave their dollars jobs. I always gave my dollars the jobs of investing, and then others for having fun, and then some for having saving purposes. And then of course, when you have a home and you have kids, you have to plan things differently. So just know that if you're using YNAB, this is not something that's just quick. It's not just something that you set it 1 week and then come back in a few weeks. It's something that has to be a regular behavior. It does not take very long if you do this regularly. Another mistake I made was trying to just do it solely on the computer. You see, YNAB is available on your mobile app or on a desktop. I figure, hey, let me look at it all in plain view on a desktop or laptop, figure it out, and then put it on my cell phone so that me and my wife can also have it on our individual phones, and we'll go and update things here and there. But in doing that, I basically shelved it to the laptop only. And I'm not at my laptop all day, every day. So why not have it on my phone? I should put it on my phone. I would recommend that you do from the beginning, so that you get used to looking at it, understanding the notifications, and just building some of those muscles, or the muscle memory that's required to just update those transactions and make sure that you're aware of the different categories of the targets that you have and whether the spending is in line with that. And the last mistake I made, and I think most men are gonna make this mistake because we can be hard-headed at times, is you start to do this on your own. I started doing it on my own. I told my wife, hey, we're using this new app. I'll let you know when I kind of figure it out, and then I'll be able to kind of teach and go through this. But at the same time, that can make things go longer. I tried for about 20 or so minutes, and that was even pretty short for me. Then I jumped into YouTube University and started looking around and see, hey, how can I optimize this? Or what does this mean? Well, how could this be easier? And that helped for sure. Finding some videos that people were able to just break things down a little bit more simply for me. And then on top of that, I realized that it was a big mindset shift, and that's what was holding me back. So when you try some of these things on your own, there's some things that are getting in your way, and sometimes it's you. But there are some really cool features available, and there are live workshops that you can attend. And if you can't, there are recordings that you can watch. And there are some features that I'd never seen before. Like, for example, you can hit start over and just pretend like whatever you just did over the last couple of weeks, struggling to use the app or being confused, now that you've learned some things, you can hit start afresh or start a new budget. It will save what you did in the past in case you want to go back to that, but it will pretend as if today is a brand new, fresh day. So you can decide, hey, January 1st or January 3rd, I want to hit start and start tracking my budget from there. And there are different features like that, and you won't know it until you either make a mistake like me or watch this video. So there you have it. Again, this is a learning process for me because again, I focus more on investing, but budgeting is something that everyone does and it's going to change from time to time. I just want you to be better than me, so don't make these same mistakes. I'll keep you posted on the progress and if I stick with YNAB or decide to use something else. But if you are just fearful of using these type of apps and would prefer to use a spreadsheet, I have an entire video dedicated to that. So talk to you later.